What is being authentic? I hear this a lot and don't really know what it means. I think it means different things for everybody. Yeah, I think it means something different for everybody. For me, it's like that oneness and the character totally meeting. So it's like there is this expression that comes out of nothingness. And I don't even know if this is right language or I've got this right. It might be something that involves this idea, but it feels like there is this like direct flow that comes from oneness, and then sometimes it gets bent into, I suppose, what teachers like Eckhart Tolle would say, the ego, like what I might call like old seeking patterns, and then you sort of like go off into old conditioning of behaving in a manner in which you were taught. Like I was taught as a child, you must speak. Where only when you're spoken to, though. First of all, the adults must speak. Then you must speak. Yeah. So it's, and it kind of is a feeling. So it doesn't look a particular way. You can't say, oh, that's authentic, because for a different person, it might be being really different. So to me, you could also say it's like when nobody's acting, like there's just action happening, but it's like this flow that comes out. And before awakening, I presume you're most of the time in this character, this identity, and a lot of your actions are based around seeking for happiness in future, like getting things for the future in order to make you happy. Like there's a belief that objects are going to free you. And then when you have awakening, there is a deep knowing that freedom is this moment, but there's these old conditioned patterns that arise. And through time, they become more spacious, but they might not completely go. I mean, you can't be completely unconditioned, but you can refine them so they become more and more in line with oneness. That's how I feel. So it feels like a flow of energy, like love. And it can be painful. It's not talking about pain or pleasure. It's talking about these old conditioned patterns. So for me, it's like having family members saying that, you know, like quiet people are this or that, or really not liking quiet people. They're boring. They don't like them, you know, all these types of things. And that not being acceptable. And that you hurt other people if you do that, and that there will be danger or there will be problems if you don't use your words to soothe others. You know, the chinwag. I don't know if that helps. That's my interpretation, but everybody's going to have their own interpretation and definition of what authenticity is. So it's like living the truth that we discover rather than living the old conditioned patterns. Well, not exactly, because I love a good cup of English tea, and that's conditioned. It's not like I was just born, and because I was genetically born British, I'm not actually English, I often say English, but I'm British, and I'm not trying to be PC, my dad's Scottish. That is a conditioned thing. So conditioning is always going to be there to an extent. So it's not like me choosing an English cup of tea every time it's offered. I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm not allowed it at home because I'm an addict. I'm absolutely addicted to English tea. Oh man, there is just, I mean, it's one of the best things there is, English tea, when it comes to consumption. Of English tea with a nice bit of a very good oat milk. Oh yes. And that is a conditioning. So it's not exactly the end of conditioning. And I can't really define what it is, but it is to an extent. So it's like maybe the conditioning that was more like a seeking energy or something. Like, so maybe mine is like an old seeking energy that comes up. So it's this behavior. But I can't really define that. So it's not the end of conditioning, but it's this feeling that you feel inside of you, and it comes from love. It's like a flow. And it's not the end of conditioning, because we would just be a ball of jelly laying on the floor, unable to move, if there wasn't forms of conditioning in us. All of us are conditioned by trauma, by past experiences, apparently, in these bodies. Yeah. But it's something like that. But I can't quite like pinpoint it exactly. Does that make sense? I hope so.